Hi, hello, vanakkam, and welcome back to yet another episode on your favorite Little Slaw YouTube channel. And recently, I have got a question from Modern Life Manager. I'm sorry, I do not know your real name, but yeah. So again, I would like to thank you for this question. So he asked me, what is the difference between any and random? So this question has come up as part of the variable manager, and he has even asked how to handle correlation for dynamic boundary. So that's again a separate interesting topic that we will see it in the next video. But now we will see what is the difference between any and random, particularly with the variable manager. And again, I would like to thank everyone for watching this video and all our videos on Neoload, LoadRunner, JMeter, the K6, DevOps, and SRE. So thanks everyone. And before we move on to the video, I would like to welcome you again. And please don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you have not subscribed yet. Share the video with your friends, like, and comment your questions like this and your feedback in case if you have any. And I've got a lot of thanks messages and thanks feedback. And there is a lot huge follow up for the upskilling performance testing. And in fact, we are going to deal with the most critical topic, which is the performance engineering, in our next video, and much more to come. So please don't forget to subscribe and share a word with your friend. So now let's move on to the video. So here I have the Neoload. So I have already set up a Neoload. So it's just going to be a very simple setup. Let me again do it for you. So let me just remove this part, remove this as well. Okay. And what I did is, let me do it again. So I did created a new user path. So this is going to be a variable manager demo. Use the user path. Let me remove the old one. We do not want that. Okay, so now we have the variable manager demo, and under this, so this is basically going to deal with the variable manager. So we do not want any valid requests or something like that. So I'm going to the actions, insert as a child. I'm going to add a HTTP request. It's going to be empty because it's just going to deal with the variable manager, as I told you. And then here I have uh, the request, I mean the path. Okay, so now let me go to the servers. So I go to the host. So we're going to make the changes here. Okay, it's just very simple, but don't complicate yourself. Okay, and the next part is I'm going to add a variable. So I have added a variable. So we all know how to add a variable. So I have created an Excel file here, and I have numbers starting from 1 to 134. So they are in the sequential order. So as you see, they are in the sequential order. There's nothing random here. So they are in the proper sequential order. We have like 134 numbers here. And I have imported the file, the CSV file. And let me rename it to again variable manager. And the name of this variable will be variable. Okay. And now if you see, we have to change the value in each iteration. So here if you see, I have selected on each iteration and the order. So we know how sequential works. It comes like in sequential, like 1 2 3 4 and 5. And when we choose the random and I'm clicking apply, so now in the first example that we're going to run, we're going to see how the random value works. Okay, and now coming back to the request, let's bring the variable here. So let's parameterize the variable. So it's this variable manager, and this is the value which we're going to use. Let me save this script and let's do the validation part. So I have 10 iterations here, and I'm going to do the start checking. And let's now see how does it work. So anyways, all the requests are going to fail because it's not a valid request, but the thing is we need to know the number. So here if you see, we have got the number as 64. So if you go to the variables, you can see here. So in the first iteration it is 64, and in the second iteration it's 12, 3, 15, 58, 40, 76, 21. Okay, and we have some more numbers as well that's coming. So now we have got all the numbers, the test is completed. Okay, so now I will take you to the any. Okay, let's go to the variable manager again. So far I think you have understood. So when I choose the order as random, the numbers that we have in sequential order in the book, in the CSV file, so they go in a random fashion. So now if I go to any, so I've chosen any, so you're seeing it. I'm clicking apply, clicking OK. Let's go to the validation again, and let's do the start checking. So now let's see what does this any does to the variables. So if you see, the very first iteration has the value 1 and 2, 3, 4. Yes, it's going to be sequential. Yeah. So you might wonder, why should we have like this? Like, for example, why should it's replicating the sequential order, but still why do we need to have it, right? So even I have the same question. So that's the reason I have moved to the next level. So far we did the validation. We all know, right? So as part of debugging or as part of validating our scripts, we used to do that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the order as any. I'm not making any changes. You're seeing it. I'm not making it to random. It's just any. And then I'm going to the populations. Let me add the script here. So I've added the script, the variable manager script. We all know how to add this. So just create a population. Under the population, we can add the script. And in case if you want to change the browser, the handle cache, everything, I know you must have watched my other videos. So just one thing which I did is I'm adding the path, the user path, the variable manager. And then I'm going to the runtime. I have created a scenario and then the population. And now let me make the load to 10 users. So I have got 10 simulated users, which is going to be a 10 user load test. And this is a simple way of a demonstrating this example. So that's the reason I'm just giving the load in the simulated user, the iterations number, and then by iteration. And now let's go to the runtime. So I think we are good. Let's start the test, and let me disable this for now, and let me click play. And since most of them come as errors, so let's go to the errors straightly, and then let's wait for the tests to get loaded. And once it is loaded, we can see in what order. Yes, yeah, you can believe your eyes. Yeah, this is true. For actions 1, the number is 10. For actions 1 again, it's number 1, and now it's 924. Yes, so the same variable manager, see, even you can see here the order is still any, but the value changes the value comes in a random fashion. So if I click again refresh, you can see here the value keeps on changing. Even you can see if I am sorting the variable managers by like 0 1 2, even in the same fashion, you can never see that order of getting. So this, when it comes to the load test, the any changes to random fashion and with multiple users. So why I'm mentioning as multiple users is I will shortly show you what happened. So now if I keep on clicking it, so every time they like simulate the users as in a random fashion. And even if you see here, there is like the numbers are coming as 19 20 21 22, but the variable managers here, they were like completely out of mind, like they were populating from any different numbers. So I'm reiterating it again for so that you don't miss it. So what I'm saying is, when you are doing the validation, the any works as sequential, and when you are using it, when you're using the any, so here let me show you, when you're using this any order, this will work as a random with multiple users, which is more than one user, I would say. And the reason is, let me stop this test and I will again go back to the magic world where what I did. So let me stop it again. Come on, let's stop it. Yep. So it stopped. So let me go to the runtime again. And if I'm changing it to just one users, okay, I'm not validating it. I'm not doing a validation test. I'm just running the load test with just one user, just with single user. And come on, Let me play it again. So if you see here, let me go to the runtime errors for you and refresh. Just believe it. This is what is going to happen. The users are going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, you have to believe it. Yeah, that's how the manage the any uh, order works. So when you're running the any with one user, it works as a sequential. When you're running any with multiple users, they run as random. So you have to effectively use this, right? So there are a lot of scenarios where you might need this, so you can effectively use this part. And even in fact, let's try this with like two users and see how does it work. The validation part, or whether we see whether they work in a sequential manner or whether they work in a random fashion. So let me run the test again, and yes, let's play it again and see how does it work. Let's wait for a few more seconds and go to the runtime errors. Let's do a refresh. And so let me again reiterate. So I think you are clear now, right? So when the variable manager, when you select any, if it is for one user, see, even for two users, it's coming in sequential order. So the more you increase, so the more you keep on increasing your load, automatically the numbers gets random. They get randomized. So the lesser the load you use, they are in a sequential fashion. So here if you see like 1 10, so on the other hand it's like 2 3. So for example, let me just order in the in the variable manager. So if you see here, like they come in 2 3 5 7 9, so it's almost like a set of even or odd numbers. And then here if you see for the let's go back, so for the user 1, so it's like 1 24 6 8. So whenever you get to use more than one users, but again I would say let me sort it down in the time fashion. So if you see, when we sort it in the time fashion, the distribution or the randomization is not too heavy, because we all know that there were around 134 numbers. But if you see here, we have 20 iterations and the numbers were just 20, right? So the distribution, I would say, is not completely randomized. They are randomized in the number of iterations or the number of required values which is required. So for example, like, let me iterate you again the other way. So in the very first example, when we ran with 10 users, it took 100 numbers from the sheet and then it randomized. And then when we took for one user, it took 1 to 10. The lesser the user and the lesser the randomization, right? So it started from 1 2 3 4 5 and until 10. And then when we started the test with two users, can clearly see the maximum number that has been taken is from 1 to 20. But then again, there is a little bit of randomization that has happened. So the first hit came with 2, and then 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's like it's trying to push the randomization, but still, because of the condition that we have chosen, that is the any, it has, okay, again I would say, like, this is something like when you choose random, it takes the random from anywhere in the sheet. But when you choose it with the users, with any, it chooses the maximum length. Okay, even we can try one more time to see with, okay, let's see, let's run with 3. So when we run with 3, it should be like a maximum of 30, right? Let me start the test and see if it does work. Then yeah, then that's the logic that's been behind the any and then the random. Let's go to the runtime errors, refresh. Let's wait for a few seconds for the users to get into the system. And yes, if you see here, we have got 1 3. So the scope is getting lesser and lesser because of the type, the what is that, because of the order, because of the order type that you have chosen. In case if we have chosen the random, in fact, let's even try that as well after this one. So if you see, The maximum number that would go is 30. Beyond 30, I believe, because based on the previous example with 2, the maximum number that went is just 20. So if in case we were able to reach until 30, then yes, the any works, or it randomizes the variables only up to their maximum number of iterations that would be required. But if in case of random, so it will just randomly take from anywhere in the sheet. Let's wait for a few more seconds to see the maximum number that has been executed. Yep, I think we are almost towards the end of the execution. Yes, so we have completed the testing. Do not copy. Let's go to the errors. Yes, so the maximum number we have got is 30. So the logic is confirmed and the logic is proved. But on the other hand, if we choose random, okay, so I'm choosing random, apply, and if I'm even choosing one user, just one user, I'm not making to 2 or 3, and if we run the test for any, we saw the maximum number or the maximum record that's been reached is 10. But when it comes to random, let's see how does the randomization works, or how does the logic that's been spread across, so that you can understand whenever you're using your logic. So if you see the very first number is like 58, come on, somewhere random outside in the table. So that's how the any and random works, and this is for just one user. So just imagine if you're using 2, 3, or 4, just it would blast the entire radius. So it would just go on picking any number from any of the tables. So I believe you must have understand. So just let me just reiterate. So when you choose any, and when you are validating, it will do, or it will like run as a sequential data order. And on the same case, when you are running a load test, the any will pick the maximum number of records based on the iterations that you have given. So if you have chosen one user with 10 iterations, the maximum record that will be taken is from the 10th of the record. So this, in fact, you can use it whenever you want to limit your data to be executed, so you can use it effectively. So the only point is how effectively are we going to use this logic behind, right? So with that, I come to an end. I believe this video would be very useful to you. In case if you have any doubts, please, or if you need to understand better, just go back and come to the video again and just move back and forth, and then you can very easily understand. And I have given it very simple with a little examples as well. So with that, I come to an end, and we'll definitely meet with the next video, that is the dynamic correlation. I have the uh, examples ready with me, but I will give it to you tomorrow. And please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, as I said, and please do comment your questions, any sensible questions, any doubts, or if you have any queries, please do comment. And if you really and yeah, again, one more thing, like I have even asked you about this mock test thing, so I got few responses, so I am expecting more from you people. So in case if you're interested to take any mock test, please do comment in the comment section. I'm always good to take it. And if you want to get any one-to-one trainings, please do comment in the comment section, or you can even email to my email ID at vasantc@gmail.com. You can have a catch up. And then, yep, let's close the video. It's bye bye from Vasan Shanmugam and Little Slaw.